What if the secret to unleashing true creativity isn't just about hiring the most talented people? What if the world's most innovative films weren't simply born from genius, but from a culture that embraces risk, failure, and candid conversation? Have you ever wondered how Pixar transformed from a scrappy tech company into a storytelling powerhouse, redefining animation and captivating millions? And could the lessons from their journey help you spark creativity in your own life, your team, or your company? Let's dive into the heart and mind of Pixar's creative process. Are you ready to explore the hidden machinery that powers imagination? Welcome to Creativity Inc. Part 1. The Birth of a Dream. At its core, Creativity Inc. is a rich exploration of how creativity thrives, not in isolation, but in environments carefully cultivated for openness, trust, and resilience. The story begins with the humble origins of a small group of dreamers obsessed with the idea of making the first computer-animated feature film. But the journey isn't just about technology or artistic mastery. It's about building a culture where creativity can flourish without fear. The early days. The early chapters chart the beginnings of the company that would become Pixar. It's a tale of bold visionaries, technological advancements, and relentless pursuit. The founders faced constant setbacks, uncertain funding, failed products, and the skepticism of an industry that couldn't imagine computers telling stories. What kept them moving? An unwavering belief in their mission and a willingness to learn from every stumble. Part 2. Building a creative culture. The power of candor. One of the central pillars of Creativity Inc. is candor. Why is honest feedback so hard and so necessary? In most organizations, people shy away from difficult conversations, fearing conflict or hurt feelings. But at Pixar, candid feedback is the engine of improvement. Meetings like the Brain Trust bring together directors and storytellers to offer unfiltered advice on works in progress. The magic isn't in who sits at the table, but in the way feedback is framed, focused on the project, not the person, driven by a shared goal to make the story better. This radical transparency isn't easy. It requires vulnerability, humility, and trust. Yet it's precisely this environment that allows creative ideas to grow from fragile seeds into fully realized films. Embracing failure. How should organizations treat failure? Most see it as a threat. Pixar sees it as a necessity. Every great film, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Up, began as a mess. Early versions are confusing, clumsy, sometimes downright bad. But failure isn't a dead end. It's raw material for learning. At Pixar, the mantra is fail early, fail fast, fail cheap. The sooner you surface problems, the sooner you can fix them. This approach doesn't mean being reckless. It means creating a safe space where people aren't punished for mistakes, but encouraged to push boundaries. Failure is inevitable on the path to innovation. What matters is learning from it. Protecting the new. New ideas are fragile. In their infancy, they're vulnerable to criticism, misunderstanding, and neglect. Organizations often crush creativity under the pressure of deadlines, budgets, and bureaucracy. At Pixar, leaders protect new ideas, giving them time and space to develop. This means resisting the urge to demand perfection too soon. It means trusting the process even when results aren't immediately visible. Part 3. Leadership for creativity. The role of the manager. What does it mean to lead creative people? Traditional management focuses on control, efficiency, and predictability. But creativity is messy, unpredictable, and deeply human. Great leaders don't dictate, they cultivate. They hire talented people and get out of their way, providing support and removing barriers. They listen more than they talk, fostering an environment where every voice matters. At Pixar, managers are taught to be keepers of the culture. Their job isn't just to hit targets, but to uphold the values that make creativity possible: openness, trust, and respect. Communication and collaboration. No creative masterpiece is made in isolation. Pixar's greatest strength is its collaborative spirit. The studio is structured to encourage serendipitous encounters, open workspaces, shared lunches, frequent cross-team meetings. The belief is simple. When talented people collide, magic happens. But collaboration isn't just about proximity, it's about communication. Leaders are responsible for breaking down silos, ensuring everyone shares information freely. When problems arise, they're addressed openly with all the relevant voices in the room. Part 4. Navigating change and uncertainty, the unseen and the unknown. Creative work is full of uncertainty. You can't map out every step in advance. You have to feel your way forward. Pixar's teams embrace the unknown, trusting their instincts and each other. When a project veers off course, it's not a crisis, it's part of the process. The willingness to adapt, to question assumptions, and to experiment is what allows creativity to thrive. The hidden barriers. Barriers to creativity aren't always obvious. Sometimes they're embedded in company policies, unspoken assumptions, or outdated traditions. Pixar's leaders are constantly on the lookout for these hidden obstacles. They encourage employees to speak up, challenge the status quo, and propose changes. The culture is one of continuous improvement, always asking, how can we do better? Surviving success. Success can be as dangerous as failure. After a string of hits, organizations often become complacent, risk-averse, or overly protective of their past. Pixar faced this challenge after the runaway success of Toy Story and its sequels. The temptation was to play it safe, to stick with what worked. Instead, they doubled down on innovation, taking risks on new stories and new directors. Part 5 are practical lessons for any organization, building a resilient organization. What makes an organization truly creative and resilient? It's not just about hiring the right people or having the best ideas. It's about building an environment where people feel safe to speak, safe to fail, and safe to dream. This means fostering candor, create spaces for honest feedback. Embracing failure, treat mistakes as learning opportunities. Protecting new ideas, give time and space for creativity to bloom. Empowering leaders, teach managers to support, not control. Encouraging collaboration, break down barriers and share information freely. Seeking continuous improvement, always question, adapt, and evolve. Applying the lessons. These principles aren't limited to animation studios. They apply to any organization, whether you're building software, running a school, or launching a startup. The real challenge is cultural. Can you create an environment where creativity isn't the exception, but the rule? Part 6, the heart of creativity, the human element. At its heart, Creativity Inc. is about people. Technology evolves, markets shift, but the need for creative expression, storytelling, problem-solving, inventing, remains constant. The best organizations recognize this. They invest in their people, nurture their talents, and trust them to do amazing things. The shared journey. No creative journey is easy. There will be setbacks, doubts, and moments of chaos. But with the right culture, these challenges aren't obstacles. They're opportunities to grow. Creativity is a team sport built on trust, respect, and a shared sense of purpose. Enduring questions. How do you protect creativity in a world obsessed with efficiency? How do you balance artistic integrity with commercial demands? How do you keep the magic alive as your team grows and changes? These are the questions at the heart of Creativity Inc., and the answers are never final. The work of building a creative culture is ongoing, demanding, and endlessly rewarding. So what could you accomplish if you built a team that welcomes failure, prizes candor, and protects the fragile spark of new ideas? Could your organization become a wellspring of innovation, where magic happens not by accident, but by design? How might your own creative journey change if you embrace the lessons from Pixar's story, not just in theory, but in practice? And what stories are waiting to be told when you give yourself and those around you permission to dream bigger? If you're curious to learn more, ready to challenge old habits, and eager to nurture creativity in your world, isn't it time to turn the page? This has been Bit Books, where every book is a spark and every spark has the power to ignite your imagination. What will you create next?